at this. This is the Museum of Root Beer we're walking into. Mother of goodness. It was $5 to get in. And we're gonna walk around and take a look. Museum of Root Beer in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. The first we come to is A&W Root Beer. I mean, look at this. Look at all the stuff they have. Look at all the growlers, merchandise, cups, coolers, soda cans, soda bottles. Throughout the years, look at all this stuff. And here you have it. Since 1919, A is for Allen, Roy Allen, who purchased an amazingly delicious recipe and opened a root beer stand. Wow, by 1960 there were over 2,000 A&W locations, all united by the taste of freshly made root beer. A&W Distributing Company was formed to take the soda brand to the next level with different varieties and marketing with the help of the Great Root Bear. There you go. A Goodwill brand ambassador and a plethora of branded merchandise and advertising campaigns, the soda remains widely available at retail this day. Well, over 900 restaurants still serve the hamburgers, hot dogs, and fries that never fail to pair well with the famous root beer. A&W. Let's take a look at some more. Just a bunch of different posters of Hires root beer. Granddaddy of brands. Hires root beer. Look at this. A little history on the Hires root beer. And all of the stuff they have. Look at this. (1700s) deep American roots, the drink of founding fathers. They have all said to have had their own favorite root beer recipes. They have a wall of root beer mascots, but here's the key. In case you wanted to go back and take a look, we'll show you the wall here in a minute. Kind of see what's going on. Look at this wall. So you can kind of go back and pause and take a look at all the root beer mascots. I mean, look at this. Obviously the A&W root beer mascot. But look at all of the other root beer mascots throughout the years that have graced covers of different types of root beers, which we'll still go through in a little bit. Look at this. And from 1800 to 1879, birth of the ice cream float. According to some reports, the root beer float gets its start at the 1876 internal exhibition in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Soda fountain connoisseur Robert Green runs out of ice cream for his cream soda, or he runs out of his cream for his cream soda and substitutes ice cream. The combination of soda and ice cream is a hit and goes on to be a fountain phenomenon. Look at that. 25-cent packets of Hires root beer in a powdered drink mix. Just tons of different information they have here. 1880 to 1919, Hires root beer. National campaign. First soda flavor to be marketed in a national advertising campaign. That was 1884, and that's when Barks was born. In 1898, through the next century, until becoming the Coca-Cola Company house root beer, Barks root beer debuted in Biloxi, Mississippi. Well, that's kind of cool. With the passage of the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, root beer increases in popularity. And 1920 to 1939, A&W. 1921, the first A&W root beer stand opens in Sacramento, California. The Marriott Hotels began its business as a root beer franchise, so that's interesting. And of course, Dad's Old Fashioned Root Beer is created, named in honor of the founding fathers who made root beer at home for his family. And just a little something here. This museum that we're walking through here in the Wisconsin Dells began with crowdfunding. And the campaign kicked off the museum and raised over $8 grand for equipment as it continues to add exhibits and acquire collections. Obviously, being here supports that, but if you wanted to scan the QR code on your screen, you can become a patron. And there you go. And as you can see right here, tons of Hall of Fames. Get your name up on the board. We have a shopping cart here full of stuff, root beer. Oreo root beer float, I did not know. Look at Peeps. Marshmallow root beer floats. Some Chips Ahoy, root beer vanilla float, great value ice cream. Look at all this different stuff they have. Popsicles. Tons of different things they have here. And shop around and you'll find it. Root beer is here to stay. Just kind of giving you a brief overlay of everything root beer. Absolutely incredible, the stuff they have here. If you really want the delicious aroma of root beer to linger, try a number of lip balm brands or pick your teeth the root beer flavored toothpick. It's a root beer world if you want it. I have a fridge here. It's not on, it's just for show, but tons of different root beer, Blue Bunny root beer floats. And look at all this. Root beer grade A whole milk. Who knew? A couple other milk containers in here. Wow. Let's take a look at a ton of different cans they have. You can see they've got some Barks root beer, all different types of cans. Look at the different cans and drafts, flavors. Wow. I mean, look at this. This is absolutely amazing. Root beer bottle caps. Tons of different root beer bottle caps, Mike and Ike's. And there's still more to come. And look at this. Museum of Root Beer, the root beer stand. Sunshine root beer. Blink your lights for service. Look at all this stuff. The 62 Ford Country Sedan. Here they talk about a ton of different root beer stands. A piece of Americana. The root beer stand or driving experience has been treasured. Uniquely American slice of life for generations. Tons of different root beer stands. I mean, holy cow. Back here they have even more cans set up. Dad's Old Fashioned root beer. I mean, look at, they've even got Weight Watchers root beer. Holy cow. Different mug root beer. There's some other mug root beers. I mean, just the amount of cans they have that are collected here. Absolutely amazing. Different signs. Root beer. I mean, just look, have a look. We've got more to come, but that's just a small aspect of what we were looking at. Tons of different, more cans, bottles. Hires root beer. Tons of different root beer. And then look at this, they've got bottles over here. The Chicken Factory root beer. I mean, look at all these. Look at all these different types of root beer that I'm sure some of us and most of us have never even heard of them. Pirate's Keg. You hear that music in the background. There's actually a theater here we're going to check out in a minute. Let's see what's going on. Look at all these different types of root beers. And for all you Snoopy lovers, tons of different root beer from the Peanuts Snoopy version. Wow, amazing. And you can see, making it cool, a boy and his dog. You spend some time reading the Peanuts, you'll end up seeing a lot of root beer. Pretty cool. Yeah, on occasion, Snoopily acknowledged he drank too much of the beverage, but he never quit it. Pasted like wallpaper to this replica of Snoopy's doghouse, that's what we just looked at, and a shrine celebration of the Peanuts comic strips that feature root beer, which there are apparently 90 of them. Enjoy root beer? Older than Coke, you say? Look at this. Root beer predates Coca-Cola by a lot. It may not be the worldwide sensation the iconic brand Coca-Cola has become, but root beer owns historic milestones that set it apart from Coke on the timeline of soda history. Wow. 9 years earlier, Charles Hires was already selling his 25-cent packets of Hires root beer powdered drink mix. Look at that. Wow, before Coke, the throne was root beer. And here we go. There's actually an 11-minute movie of root beer commercials. Let's take a look.
The adult hippopotamus can weigh up to 5,000 pounds, eats up to 300 pounds of food a day. The first trick to teach your hippo is roll over. The second trick to teach him is get off. Then pour yourself an ice-cold mug root beer, the one root beer with true draft taste. Mug old-fashioned root beer. You haven't tasted root beer like this in years. A&W root beer. When you want one, you want one. A&W tastes so fine, sends a thrill up my spine. Get that frosty mug sensation. Ooh, that A&W tastes so good, down my soul. It's so smooth and creamy tasting. Get that creamy frosty mug sensation.
Okay, touch gloves and fight clean.
Mug root beer. The foam goes straight to your brain.
Take one.
Action! Wow! Is yours tastes as frosty as mine?
Give me my frosty mug back.
What are you, nuts?
No, actually, we're fruit.
A&W, we've got that frosty mug taste.
At A&W Drive-In for our rich, natural-tasting, old-fashioned root beer. People think it's the greatest root beer in the whole world, except for one thing, taking A&W root beer home. That was the only problem. But now we're coming home to you, because we put A&W in bottles and cans. Finally, A&W root beer is coming home.
What do you got that's real good?
It's just a bit of shame. His phone has made it name. No finer trust root beer in the land. No finer trust root beer in the land. Just no finer trust root beer in the land.
What? That's how it used to come out.
How to make a delicious A&W root beer float by basketball superstar Dell Dawkins. The hook.
Piece of cake.
The three-pointer.
Block.
The jumper.
Not bad.
There's nothing like the rich, creamy taste of A&W over ice cream. No matter how you make it. For yourself a frosty one. A&W. Uh-oh, the steal.
And we'll just take a walk around of this entire section here. Cans, bottles, barrels, merchandise. I mean, look at all of this stuff. Tons of different bottles, keg tappers, signs. Look at all this stuff. Let's just take a walk around so you can see. I mean, holy cow. There's more things in a glass case over here. Some of these bottles are really old. Some mugs. Got a lamp up here. Mr. Root Beer thermometer. Tons of different stuff. Look at a bunch of the growlers they have. Growlers, mugs. Look at some of these old time dispensers. I mean, look at some of these dispensers look like they're a ketchup bottle. Look at this. This is absolutely amazing. We got a thing hanging up here for IBC root beer. Wow. I mean, look at, there's an Arby's restaurant root beer up there. Just absolutely amazing. Sprecher root beer. Just look at all this. Amazing. I'll just take you along and show you all the different types of glasses they have. Because we're not even close to done. Look at all this. Look at the wall here. Even got some train merchandise up there. And then over here, tons more bottles. I mean, if you ever come to the Wisconsin Dells, it was $5 to get in. Totally worth it if you're into any type of root beer, as you can see. Just a ton of different stuff. Got a whole wall over here of the keg tappers. Tons of different ones. Just wow, I have no words right now. There's just so much root beer stuff. So cool. Let's check out some more. Little sign up there on the way out. A couple more cans of different stuff. Look at this. Got some root beer liqueur mats for the bar. Got some more stuff here from the 40s. Sonic began as a root beer stand. That's kind of neat. Introduces speakers at car hops. 3,000 Sonic locations presently. Wow. Then we have the 60s. Looks like a sales slump. Loss of soft drink market share, an immediate result of bad publicity for root beer makers. Not much going on in the 60s, it looks like, but let's see what else. We're at the 1970 to 1989, and there's the root beer bear, the A&W root beer bear, and the drive-ins peak, indicating a coming decline. A&W drive-in restaurant peak in 1974 at 2,400 total locations. The iconic Midwest root beer drive-in chain, Dog and Suds, had already peaked at 650. Look at here, Pepsi Cola has their hopes in the mug root beer. Mug root beer is purchased by Pepsi in 1986, replacing on-tap draft-style root beer as PepsiCo's go-to root beer brand. And in the 90s, we have the world's largest root beer float. Barks Root Beer sets a record in creating the world's largest root beer float in 1990 in an above-ground swimming pool. Holy cow. It consisted of 1,500 gallons of Barks Root Beer and 1,000 gallons of vanilla ice cream. Who got to drink that would be my question. And then 2000 to present, see right down here, a Hall of Foam. The iconic American beverage of root beer gets its due spotlight with the opening of the world's only museum of root beer. You heard it here. The lawn care chef has told you that this is the only museum of root beer, and it's in the Wisconsin Dells. And on the way out, we see Dad's old-fashioned root beer, a couple other things to point out, and that's it. Come on back soon. We're gonna hop in and check out the store. You can see they have tons of merchandise here in the store.
Served so many floats and flights since you came in. I forgot you guys existed. You guys really took it in, huh? Yeah.
And then they have a ton of root beer in bottles, and you can just take a ton of different mix and match bottles, and let's show you some more.